The next topic is crossing over. See, this is a crossing over. Crossing over, this is a process of overlapping of chromatids of non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosome. See here, in meiosis, during prophase first, and in the actual prophase first is also divided into 5 subphases. And here, the Pachydin phase, in the Pachydin phase, the non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes overlaps together. This process we have to call as a crossing over. This term crossing over is given by the Morgan. And here in this process, here homologous chromosomes, these are paired chromosomes of the homologous chromosomes. This is a one chromosome. This one is a this one and this one. Both two chromosomes are there, and these two chromosomes of same, these two chromatids of same chromosome are called as sister chromatids, while the chromatids of homologous chromosomes are called as non-sister chromatids. So here non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes overlap together in this way. And this process is called as crossing over. In this crossing over process, the genetic material at the point of crossing over is called as chiasmata. Here, the exchange of genetic materials occurs. The genes which are present here in this chromosome, they exchange on this chromosome and vice versa. So, overlapping or crossing over process occurs for the exchange of genetic makeup in between these homologous chromosomes. So, this crossing over or exchange the genetic material responsible for or leads to the variations in the next generation. Because of this, the variations occurs in the next generation due to the crossing over process, and variation leads to the evolution. It makes the organisms very suitable in their suitable for the natural selection. Now see next one, Morgan's experiment. Morgan's experiment. Morgan performed an experiment to show the linkage genes. Here he performed the dihybrid cross. He used or performed the experiment on the fruit fly, that is a Drosophila melanogaster. This is a fruit fly. He performed the experiment on the fruit fly and he performed dihybrid cross here. Dihybrid cross same as that of the experiment performed by the Mendel. Dihybrid cross. He chose two parents, pure line parents. He performed the cross between the two Drosophila parents, one with yellow body having white eye. This is the female. Yellow body, white eye, female, cross with the brown body, red eye, male. This is called as a wild type. So he performed such crossing. He got the F1 progeny, recombinations in the F1 progeny. Then he also performed selfing. He also performed the crossing in the F1 progeny. Then he found out the F2 progeny. He got the F2 progeny. And on that basis, the complete description, complete diagram description shown in your textbook. You can see that. So on that basis, Morgans conclude that in the inheritance, those genes which are like close together on the chromosome, they forwarded, they have the strong linkage and forwarded together. So they show very little recombinations. While those genes which are arranged or distantly arranged on the chromosome, they have the loose linkage and they show the more recombination. So here the strong linkage on the chromosomes, X chromosome of this Drosophila, they show only 1.3% recombination. Very low recombination. While the loose linkage between the genes are arranged far away from each other on the same chromosome. So they form the loose linkage, and here in the loose linkage the rate of recombination is about 37.2%. Recombination. So this is the Morgan's experiment. Morgan experiment proves or states that it explained that how the genes forwarded in the next generation and linkages, how the linkages forward in the next generation, how the recombination occurs due to the strong linkage and the loose linkage. Now next one, autosomal inheritance. See here. Autosomal inheritance. Autosomal inheritance. Here we know that in the human being 23 pairs of chromosomes are present. 23 pairs. Out of this 23 pairs, 22 pairs in 44 chromosomes are autosomes, and 2 chromosomes in the one pair is sex chromosome, also called as allosome. All the body characters are determined by the autosomes except sex of an individual. These two chromosomes in one pair determine the sex of an individual, and hence it is sex chromosome. So see here, if the inherited transmission of body characters apart from sex-linked trait, transmission of body characters apart from sex-linked trait from one generation to the next generation, that is called as autosomal inheritance. Because these inheritance, that character forwarded by these autosomes, hence it is an autosomal inheritance. This is nothing but autosomal inheritance. Here, some are dominant traits. Some are autosomal dominant traits. Here, dominant traits express in both the conditions. In homozygous condition as well as in heterozygous condition. If dominant gene is present in homozygous condition, no doubt character is expressed. But if it is present in the heterozygous condition, when one dominant and one recessive gene is present, then also it expressed. This is the dominant traits. Here examples are the example of dominant traits are the widow's peak, and Huntington's disease. Widow's peak and Huntington's disease. Widow's peak and Huntington's disease. These two are the homozygous. These two are the autosomal dominant traits which express the homozygous and the heterozygous condition. If both the recessive genes are present, the homozygous recessive condition is there, that recessive trait expressed. So these are the dominant traits, while another is a recessive traits, autosomal recessive traits. Autosomal recessive traits here, PKU and sickle cell anemia are the example. Phenylketonuria in PKU and sickle cell anemia, these are the examples of recessive traits in the expressed only in the recessive condition. Both the recessive genes are present, then only both the characters are expressed. See here, what is a widow's peak? Widow's peak is nothing but the hairline, V-shaped hairline on the forehead in this way. See. This is V-shaped hairline. Here, V-shaped hairline. See, V-shaped hairline on the forehead. This is called as widow's peak. This is a dominant character expressing both homozygous and heterozygous condition. If both the genes are recessive, then the hairline is here. It's a flat hairline, and this hairline is straight hairline. In this straight hairline on the forehead, this is called as a recessive. This is a recessive trait expressed due to the homozygous recessive condition, recessive genes. Widow's peak. Next, the recessive trait PKU, phenylketonuria. Phenylketonuria is a recessive metabolic disorder. This is a recessive metabolic disorder. Actually, here protein digests and it releases the amino acid. Here one of the amino acids is a phenylalanine. See here. Phenylalanine. This phenylalanine is converted into tyrosine. This is another amino acid. By the action of one enzyme, this is the phenylalanine hydroxylase. The enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase convert the phenylalanine into the tyrosine. But due to the presence of such recessive genes, both the recessive genes, this disease expressed here, appears here. And in this disease, what happened? The enzyme, that is a phenylalanine hydroxylase, this enzyme, release of this enzyme gets stopped. There is no release of such enzyme. So, due to absence of this enzyme, the phenylalanine does not convert it into tyrosine. Due to this, the phenylalanine is deposited in the blood. This deposit in the blood, and phenylalanine derivative is deposited in the blood, and then it will excess released to the urine. Hence it is called the phenylketonuria, PKU. Phenylketonuria. This is the PKU condition. Next one, sex-linked inheritance. Sex-linked inheritance